ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
What people don't realize, and Jeffrey Owens made a statement about Malcolm's passing, that when people were making a mockery of him, he said the whole world was dissing him for working at a Trader Joe's in Jersey, in our home state. Malcolm Jamal quietly reached out to the people who made the show The Resident that he was on and got him a recurring role. And so when we think about the unhoused situation in San Francisco, all over this country, which is horrific, I see it every time we travel. Are we doing anything? What are we doing to help people? You can say, well, I don't want them in my community, but no one should be homeless. And you're right, we're the richest nation on the planet. There's so many resources here, but as we see right now in this country with the priorities that's happening. I mean, the fact that the Speaker of the House just shut down the entire House early for the next 5 weeks because they don't want to even deal with the Epstein files. After saying last week, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, we should put it out there. I mean, this shows where we are. It's so confusing and problematic, and it's really about just trying to protect a few people as opposed to making sure all of us are good. And I think that Malcolm Jamal represented, Karen, what was good, what was possible. He was
Yeah.
modeling, as my wife says all the time, modeling goodness. And we need people
Yeah.
that are willing to do that. You don't have to be an elected official, but are you helping anyone besides yourself?
Correct. I
That's
mean,
what I
this new mayor, London Breed, was the previous mayor, and
yeah.
they voted her out because it's sort of like people vote. They're voting to get the immigrants out, and they want these uh, homeless people out. They want them
Yep.
gone. You want them dead? Do you want them not here? Like, I feel like you want them not here. I feel like the voting is so violent. So you voted London Breed out. You got this guy who's funny. His name, I look at his name and I see Larry Daniel Favors. His name is Daniel Larry, spelled just like Larry. I'm sure it's
Mm,
Lori,
right.
how some of y'all pronounce her name, but I'm going to call him Larry because it looks like Larry to me. But he's the mayor. He got elected, promising to clean up, all of this. So this policy, which will need approval by the supervisors today, targets 400 recreational vehicles in the city of 800,000. It's 400 vehicles in a city of 800,000. RVs serve as shelter for people who can't afford it. Okay, they're not living on the street, they have RVs. Okay, so maybe you designate a part of the city, maybe a park. Is there not a park somewhere, or abandoned lot area that you can let people park safely, and maybe even have a little shower, give people some dignity, a little bathroom area. I don't know. I
Those are
just feel like that's
solutions.
the human thing to do.
Those are solutions. I mean, listen, I live in Brooklyn, as you know, and there are so many high rises that have gone up that remain unfilled because they are charging people four, five, six, seven, eight, $9,000 to pay for an apartment. And all around it, in the nooks and crannies, are the unhoused community of Brooklyn, New York. I mean, and it says that, and I want to shout out the King family, Martin Luther King III and Bernice King, because they've made a statement about here they are. They released Dr. King's assassination records. They're trying to smear him. We know what's happening there
Mm.
yesterday, but they're not releasing the Epstein files because this is a distraction. Because the real issue is they're actually not trying to help the American people, no matter who they are. They don't care. They don't care. It's really saying that you're on your own. And Karen, you people like you and I, we have something in us. That doesn't mean that other people are better than anyone like that, but we know that we got to do what we got to do. I mean, that was your family from what I've heard over the last couple of years with you. My family's been that way. Like, you got to make it happen no matter what. But it's like folks out there who need some help. What if you're a veteran? What if you're a college student who's now got a college degree, a piece of paper, but you have mountains of debt? I mean, we can go down the list of folks. I mean, what if you didn't go to college? What if what if you need a trade? What if you need a skill? Like, what are we supposed to do? And I feel like the Great Depression happened because of greed, but there was the thing that was beautiful about the Great Depression. There was a remedy for it called the New Deal. Here we're saying we're going to leave y'all out there and we don't care what happens after. I mean, we literally, I believe we're going to get to a point in this country, unless this turns around significantly, it's going to have to come from people power in the streets of people's movement in this country
Hmm.
that they're going to just, they don't, more folks will be homeless, unhoused. More folks will be out there desperate. There'll be more crimes. More athletes will be targeted in their homes. More entertainers will be targeted in their homes because it's just us going against each other. And this insanity of, moving RVs around. The same thing happened in Los Angeles, before Karen Bass became the mayor. They just kind of like using them as pieces on a chessboard or checkerboard. Like, let's just move them around and so no one can see them. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. That doesn't work because
Yeah.
that is not a solution, you
Arnold
know?
Schwarzenegger in I think it was in Los Angeles built a village for unhoused vets.
That's right.
Well, he's a citizen.
Yeah.
So yeah, the government has more money than Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not, I can't prove it, but I believe they have more money. And it would save. Again, you're sending a message about that you put people over profit, that you care, that you're actually representing all of the people. And we also have to check in ourselves this dehumanization of folk who are not like you know and it's almost like the distance that we put between ourselves and the poor, ourselves and the uneducated. It makes us feel better about ourselves, but what you're really showing is your insecurity. What you're really showing is your weakness, the fact that you don't have room and space to acknowledge the humanity of somebody. I don't step over people in the streets when I'm walking in New York City. I say hello and good morning, even if they're, I don't care what kind of sign they're holding up. I'm going to acknowledge your humanity. Now, don't put that dirty water on my window. I'm gonna give you that look too. Don't do that. Here's
Right.
some money. Don't do it. But
Right.
there's an understanding. You know what I'm saying? That I'm human. You're human. We see each other. I'm sorry about your condition, but I'm not going to ignore your humanity because it makes me feel bad. Like,
That's
how
right.
crazy is that? Makes me feel bad, so I'm going to treat you bad. That is how we move sometimes. I feel bad about this thing, so I'm going to treat you bad because uh, now I'm forced to have to look at you. It's crazy.
We lose our humanity every single day when we do that, Karen Hunter. We lose our humanity. And I don't even know if I would say uneducated. I would just say, like my mom, she has a eighth grade education out of the South. Jim Crow segregated America. She was undereducated because the system was racist, it was sexist, it was classist. So she had to deal with all those different isms, and she had to work. She had to become the help as a girl, literally. And when I go around the country, I don't care if it's poor whites, poor blacks, poor indigenous people, poor Latinx folks. Most people are actually struggling, trying to figure it out, and their educations are often interrupted. They're often undereducated because they have to make a decision between do I go to school or am I going to survive? You know what I mean? That shouldn't
Mm,
be. Every time I have a friend who's overseas somewhere, I don't care what country it is, it could be Portugal, it could be France. Two of my friends are moving to France. I'm like, y'all got healthcare? They said within a year we're gonna get healthcare. I'm like, this is crazy. Like everyone should have healthcare. Everyone should have
yes.
basic healthcare. Like you said earlier, there should be Portland, Oregon. I want to shout out Portland, Oregon. I don't know if they still do, but years ago I went there. I was struck by the fact they offered showers to the unhoused community. Like, there was places where you could actually shower. You know what I mean? Like here's a space for y'all. You know what I mean? It's like just basic things. When we talk about the mental health issue with the unhoused community, I believe that the deterioration happens mentally when you feel like you got no one out there. That's when you start to drift off into, let me just eat out of this garbage can. And I don't know how I smell. I don't care. I'm just trying to make it from day to day. Today the bus stop is my bed. Tomorrow it might be the train station. You know what I mean? And it all connects because how does it not affect your mental? How does it not affect your spiritual when you feel like no one, absolutely no one cares, and you're simply
Yep.
being penalized because you happen to have no place to live for a period of time?
Period. For the shower project in Portland, it wasn't
Mhm.
the city, it was
Okay.
organizations again. No, but
Thank you for telling me
I'm
that.
saying something. No, we are going to have to provide for ourselves. So they have the Sunnyside Shower Project,
Wow.
um, and they have, I think, something called Blanchard House, which
Hmm.
also, and the Oregon Harbor of Hope. These
Yeah.
are organizations, nonprofits that launch mobile showers and laundry trucks, and they serve the unhoused people, showing up for people, not the government. But we have to also do a better job electing people who are going to show up and not giving them a hard time. It's hard. I don't know what it would be like to be mayor of a city, coming into a city that has these complications like San Francisco, New York City. It's tough. It's tough, right? And you may have all of the great intentions. Even, we talked about we've been, relitigating Barack Obama's presidency for the last several years. But I don't know what it's like to be handed this dossier or this, this binder of all of the things you can and cannot do because you really aren't necessarily running the country unless you're doing what Trump is doing, which is saying middle fingers to all of the laws and rules and strictures. Obama
Right.
was following the rules, right? And then people are telling you what you can't do because truthfully, you need Congress to do things, and then the thing has to come across your desk to sign into law. You're not making laws. Only thing you have control over is you maybe bomb Osama bin Laden. You could do that because you have control of the military. But if you're not trying to be a dictator, you have very strict rules around what you can do, and then you can't do anything, and then everyone's blaming you, and you have 2 years to show and prove a problem that's been going on for 20. I mean, to me, we have to do a better job. First of all, understanding the civic process, but also electing people who are not chasing these APEC dollars, but actually care. And we can remove the money by showing up. The money won't matter if we show up, right? They can flood us with these commercials and all of the other machinations that they use the money to do with the bots. We can ignore them and actually serve up people who are going to serve us.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not